Okay, so that's 3:13 on the 26th. And I've been up since I think I had to go pee, and I got up and I looked at my thing, it was 1:45, and I could never go back to sleep. So I was thinking after I get up, I've already drank 3 cups of tea. After I get up and do some stuff for a while, the dogs of course be eaten, then I'll try and go back to sleep. At least I don't have, well, I kind of have a lot to do because this shed is half built, so I've got to finish doing that. And supposed to be taking my mom to get her ID today, and but her eye still looks like cyborg monster. It's like, you want to get your ID with that cyborg eye? Like, it's creepy as fuck. So anyways, I'll see it today. Maybe it'll be a little better. It looks like a monster eye. But so anyways, that it seems like there's a lot going on. Like it's kind of like, I don't even know. I know what's important. I do know that, and I've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. All the other stuff is the stuff to. It's like to get us to see the errors of our way, and to get us to be more present in life, and to get us to have better priorities, and to institute a better way of life than what we've allowed to become our life. And it is, but you got to remember, all this stuff is in the spiritual sense of thing, that this stuff playing out how it played out was never wrong. It was supposed to occur, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like, you as a soul are allowed to make a decision. And allowed is even kind of a weird word, because it's like the decisions you make, it's to see where they go. So it's like you can't sit here and make a bad decision, then God step in and go, oh wait, that was a bad decision, I'm going to change it up for you. No, the soul, the being, is to experience its choices. So whatever choices it makes, there is a repercussion, a play out, a consequence, a deliberate way of how the dominoes fall. And so the soul is here for that experience. And so there was, and it's like, we do it as a group in a lot of sense, because this way, oh yeah, okay. So in some ways, it's like a group is like a country. And so that country, the people in that reality allow or make decisions to go into an experience a certain way. And like I said, nobody's going to go in and say, wait, you're making a mistake. It's for each person to sense. And that is kind of where the chaos comes in, because we all have different sensors. So some of us begin to sense things sooner than others. But those of us who sense, it's not to be or remain as better. It is to ripple the energy. It's to pull the energy in a direction. So it's not that the people who see first are better than the people who see last, because everything is supposed to play out. The game is supposed to finish. You don't stop in the middle of the game and go, I don't like how this is going, and throw your hands up and the game is over. No, it's like every choice that we make, and particularly as a group, as a nation, that those choices play out in a direction. And that is the learning or the awareness of the soul to be able to see the consequences of choices. That's like why, to me, it stands out so much about the um, PORN and the creation of the fetish, and how things go so extreme and people lose themselves, literally lose themselves, because they lose aspects of themselves into, I think that you got to look at this the same as you look at a drug addict, because a drug addict is using a chemical to try and create a process, like I get a dopamine hit or whatever, but it's the same kind of thing with gambling, with fetishes, all these kind of things. They get a hit, but it goes further and further and further. But the but the people actually lose themselves. They lose parts of themselves, and yeah. So when you look at the group, the collective as a whole, then you see the necessity of the ones that don't, because that's what gives the foundation or balance to the ones that do. So we all work together as a team so that the universe, or so all experiences, can be had, because it is it's to it just has to do with seeing how things play out. And so right now we're at this big part of seeing where our choices have taken us, and but we have to also take the time to stop and listen and look and be aware and sit with ourselves and take notice of what is happening. And it feels, when you do that, it feels super chaotic and absorbing, like it absorbs you, it consumes you. That's funny too, yeah, because the energy of consumption, but then the energy starts to consume itself, and that is like the snake eating its own tail. That is what we are kind of in the process. We created a consumption energy that is consuming us as we notice it. So we begin to feel powerless in this. Yeah, I keep seeing it like a vacuum vacuuming up, and we're like one dust particle, and the vacuum sucking us up. So it's like we feel powerless, but it is our creation. And through the, because it's like we created it so we can stop it. It's not um like it's out of our hands. That's why this the lights coming on to see. And that's why a lot of people are sick and losing their jobs and stuff. So they stop. They stop running. They stop doing things. So they have to have time to look. So people think like, oh, it's a disaster. I lost my job. I lost this. I lost that. But it's really like an assist from your higher self. It's like, and it's not happening before. It's not happening after. You knew before. It was pre-planned. So it was always in your plan. How things play out was always in your plan. So there's nothing to be consumed by. Look, so if you're losing everything, it was always, it's not just happening. It was always going to happen. And so all these things are happening now. So we stop what we're doing and we create a change. We go in a different direction. And so the the witnessing or the is like an evolution kind of, because it is like it takes time to get to the point of witnessing without being emotionally consumed by what is happening, because that's why we have these very emotional groups, because they are consumed with emotion about what is going on. But even if they leave this world still in an emotional turmoil, that doesn't mean that just stays forever and ever and ever. It's not something that we need to sit there and take on, is more consumption of our energy. We have to trust the process. We have to trust the universe. That's a big part of what we are or should be moving towards in our learning, is this trusting the process, allowing life to happen, in knowing that we will get from it what we are meant to get from it. And the because at times we fail ourselves, but that is why there is this review at the end, so you can see for yourself. And so that is learning still at that point. So you're always in a sense of learning. And so it's like we're in classes. Like each reality, each time period, each window of time of experience is a class in itself. Yeah, okay. Because then, like if you took a school, okay, if you took a school, yeah, it's kind of weird, because I went back to my high school when we were just, like, I think I already said about, so when I was in Dallas, and my brother and my sister-in-law, not my sick brother, not my brother which he just got his scans back, and he just went to the doctor yesterday, and they said he's doing really good, he's holding stable, and they even see improvement. And I was like, well, don't you think it's time now to start getting some PT or OT, seeing what services can be done? Because at some point you got to stop living like you're about to die and start living like you take a hold of your life and keep moving forward. Like, so anyways, but I'm just glad of all that, because I feel like it gets us closer and closer to the new technologies that'll be coming out, because I know that it will be able to save a lot of people. But sometimes it's like, man, but maybe it's really far. I don't know. Seriously, I have no idea. You know, it's like maybe it's the thing that gives some of us something to hold on to, but it maybe is like, fuck, 6, 7 years from now or something. It's like a long ways away. Maybe this time of turmoil is going to just get more intense, because it depends on where the people take it, and it depends on what is meant to be the lesson. And so, and it's like we all have our own lessons, but the collective, the whole class has a lesson. So when we went back, there was a road, and we said, well, let's go look at that house that we used to live in. So when we exited, we went right past the street with our other old house. And I was like, oh my God, that's where we used to live. Go down that street. And then the house that we lived in, which was a creepy David Hall, the molester, um, there was a lot of pervs in that neighborhood. But that house, and oh my God, it was so nice. I was like, dang, man, that house is cute as shit. They really, I mean, it was much different in the 70s, but that now, oh my gosh, the people really fixed it cute. It's so cute. And And then we went down and we found the bridge that we walked over and stuff, and which the bridge was different, the roads were different. Oh my God, it was so much different. It was like we just walked across the 635. It was like 3 lanes and 3 lanes on the freeway. But now it's like they got these lanes and they got these lanes down here. Then they got the access. It's like it's fucking 12 or 16 lanes of fucking speeding cars. And the bridge is bigger, but it's also not enclosed. So I don't know. It was intense. And I was like, God, when I was going across, I was like, I cannot believe I used to walk across this. Look, I got a horrible thing with heights. And it was like, oh, I don't even want to look down. And I don't remember being a kid, what I felt about, like, if I went and looked over the side or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. But anyways, then we went and looked at another house. And then we decided to go down because our houses, it's funny because we moved all the time. But it was just like we moved school districts or something. There was some big moves, but it was always I had to go get new friends, new friends, new friends all the time. And so we drove down and we went to another old house. And it was like, so we went to 3 houses. But when we went to the one, we drove past the high school. And it was, they redid the junior high. Because it used to be when I went to school there, the junior high and the high school like shared a field. And so now the junior high, I think it's the elementary, but it's huge. It's huge. Oh my God, you won't believe it. And then the high school is completely redone. Well, what's weird is because this area is like mansions, mansions, mansions. Like we lived in a fancy house then. Like I said, when I was going to school, there was lots of kids who thought I was the richest kid in school. And I don't even know, but I had no confidence. I was like, I was not, I wasn't like, oh, miss, at school. No, not at all. And I always felt like people are gonna know my house is crazy. My dad's drunk. He's a perv. Like I always felt like, I don't know, like everybody's gonna know these things. It haunted me. And my life was just insane back then. So, anyways, but the weird thing is when we saw the school and we were driving away from it, and it was so fucking fancy. It was so high tech and stuff. I was like, man, that is so weird. I don't know if it was a different timeline or what the hell, but I know another trip that I had come and I drove out past the school, and it was like a ghetto school. I was like, man, this place really went downhill. And then, I didn't ever think anything else about it and just went on with my life. And then when we went back this time, I was like, what the hell happened? And it's all these fucking mansions, this fancy ass school. And we started looking because there was, I think we saw like 1 or 2 houses for sale, and they were like over $1 million for these houses. So they were fancy. And Dallas houses are, uh, I mean, like it's no comparison to California. In California, you just buy a regular house for $1 million. There, you get a big ass house. So, anyways, and same in Seattle and Oregon. You buy a little 2-bedroom rancher, it's almost $1 million. So, anyways, the but so seeing the school and the classes. Okay, so then you have the classes. So think of the world as classes, and there is like the classes in the 70s are different than the classes in the 80s. And I mean, I saw like this school change, which I said something about it, and somebody said, well, they came in and redid it recently or something. So there was a overhaul or something. So I think it was going down, and then they came in and just freaking redid this whole thing. But anyways, I was seeing there was different classrooms or different classes, like the class of 1970, the class of 1983, the class of 1992, these different classes, and the difference in them. And that's kind of like the different windows of time of experience are like these classes, like this. The kids in the 70s learn different things than the kids in the 80s, the kids in the, just like now, I mean, it's totally different. So all the different windows of time of coming into experience all have different like lessons, different lesson plans, different experiences about that time, that age. And so if you think of each lifetime as a class, and you're like the class of 1960, the class of whatever, then those different things, like you're the class of the Middle Ages, you're the class of the Roman Empire, you're the class of the Egypt or whatever, during these different time periods, like when they built the pyramids or whatever. You're the class of Atlantis, you're the class of the Middle Ages, you're the class, you're different periods, but it's not just like we're learning about history. We are the history, we are the experience. And so we go in, and that is essentially like a class of learning. And so you learn from all of the stuff that goes on at that time, which I just saw this video. Man, I swear to God, we're just fucking being poisoned all the time. I saw this video of this lady, which I keep seeing these ladies, and there's all these ladies just out, just traveling by themselves, just like one, man, I was like, fuck, this seems so dangerous. Like a bunch of them. I'm like, fuck, this seems crazy to me. I wonder how many go and just disappear. And there's so they're traveling and doing all this stuff all by themselves. And this one, though, so this lady, I just saw a video, and she was freaked out. So she went to Africa by herself. And so she went, she said it was like nighttime, and she went out, to a club, but she wasn't going clubbing because she said she doesn't really do that. But she just went out to kind of see it and then went back to her hotel. And she said that was the last thing she remembered, was being at the hotel and asking him something. I think she went up to her room and she couldn't get in or something. She went down and she asked him for something. And then that's the last thing she remembered. And she woke up in the trunk of a car and she started freaking out. And so whoever the nabbers were, I don't know if they pulled over and whatever. She said she went into a fight for her life. And she's all like, she's got a big black eye. She's all punched in the face and shit. She's got bruises all over her face. And she said that she went into a fight for her life. She said she was fighting these nabbers. She was going crazy. And they kept trying to cover her mouth. And so she's got these bruises like that. And she said she's hitting them and doing all this. And then I don't know, she knocked one back or whatever. She just took off running, and she's out in the middle of nowhere, she said, in the woods and or jungle or whatever. And she said, but she could see lights way up ahead, so she just started running and running as fast as she could towards the lights. And she got up there, and there was cars, and then she got a car or whatever, and I guess she went to the police station or something. But anyways, there's a huge cover up. And the hotel saying she never came there. It was like, but there's so many people involved in this. Like even here, you came to America, we've got our cops, we've got all them. They're all taking payoffs. They're all involved in this trade. It's big money, and they're all involved. And so when we want to think like, they're not poisoning us still, they're not doing this still, they're not doing that still, they still are. They're still nabbing people. And I still think it has got to be super dangerous. Man, these people are just going out of the country. They're going to other countries. They're moving to them. They're just traveling all around. One lady just walking That's the whole fucking way. There's people who have gone missing on these trails and shit. People go missing in national parks all the time. So I don't know. It just seems wacky, but that lady gave me confirmation because I kept seeing him and thinking, fuck, that seems dangerous. But this lady said, yeah, she got nabbed. And so, anyways, the next video I saw of her, she was at the airport. She's got a hood all covering her face because it's all beat up. And she still is just totally freaked. And she said, now there's just this big cover up. They're just telling me no. And she said, I don't know what they did. Where I was walked down there and standing there 1 minute, and the next minute I'm in the trunk of a car. But they have these aerosols. They have these things that you can just be standing there and go, and then you breathe it, and then you're out, and you can't remember stuff. So the technology, even on that stuff, is more advanced than what we think. So, anyways, you got to be careful, man. And kids, I see video after video after video. Fuck, man. Of people who keep going missing. And I swear to God, the sickness, it's like it's not like being sick, but it's like it just doesn't go away. Like you get sick and then you start to get better, but then it just like hangs on. Like there's more stuff about what it is that that the over-the-counter T word does to you. And it is something with this, uh, it starts with a G, it's like some kind of a something in us. And then it causes that to be depleted. And then, there's just it's so nefarious because, they tell you to go get these things. And then on top of it, they tell you to take that. So it kind of works together. So these things and that thing, and that is what I've been saying for years. I've been saying this for years. It's just a giant chemistry experiment. Take a little of this, pour that in, take a little of this, put that in, and then you put this, and then you got this. So they are always doing that. And then but it's not just one set thing because we all have different code. And so it has to do with our coding too. And so anyways, you got to, because somewhere in my genetic link, my dad, he went into liver failure. Fuck, man, I think it was, trying to think, because I lived in that one house. So it was past the 80s. 80s, I was still in California. So, had to be the late 90s. God, time is weird. Time is so fucking weird. So I was living in that house. It was before I started nursing school. So it had to be the late 90s. And I remember because I had stopped talking to him. But I had seen him in California and stuff. Like even in California where he showed up. And then my car, the brakes went out. And he went and got me another Mustang and started putting the two Mustangs together. And he was around. But then he left again. But he was drunk all the time. We wouldn't let him stay with us. He had to go stay at a hotel. Maybe he ran out of money. I don't remember all this stuff. But at some point, I wrote him a letter, you never protected me. I need to be protected from you. I want nothing to do with you. Leave me alone. Because he would always, and he continued to do this to my brothers, is he'd just get drunk and then he'd call you and just keep you on the phone, whining and crying about his life. That's why by the time I got to number 4, oh my God, he was the exact same way. Oh God, I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my God. It was such a trigger to me. It's like you get yourself drunk and then you just sit there all fucking night whining. It's like, shut the fuck up, man. Do something about your life or shut the fuck up, man. Like, goddamn. But I've also been on the side of being the whiner and my sister telling me that too. She was like, it was like when I was trying to get divorced from the first one, which was very traumatic because he was very, he wanted to, take me out. He wanted to, he strangled me. Like, it was a lot. And so it was very scary to me. And so but I would bitch and whine and complain all the time back then. And And my sister said, do something about it or shut the fuck up about it. And I was like, okay. But then I started seeing that too. When somebody just sits there and fucking whines and whines and whines and don't do anything about it, shut the fuck up about it. Quit fucking whining to everybody about it. Do something about it if you don't like it. Shut the fuck up. So, anyways, yeah. So I had just told my dad, just buzz off. And it was, now people are doing that all over the place. No contact. It's called no contact with your parents. But it's like extreme. It's like, and it keeps you from healing. And because I didn't stay no contact the whole entire time, I started seeing him again way later. But there was a bunch of times where he was in the hospital, he was all beat up, he was dying, he was in liver failure, he wasn't going to get out. And everybody would be like, oh, you got to talk to him. And I'd be like, I'm not talking to him. And, but at one of those times, he was in liver failure, but he got out of the hospital. They said he had like 1% of his liver going. He was supposed to quit drinking and stuff. And, but he kept going. He kept drinking for 20 years with 1% of his liver working. And then he ended up getting liver cancer. And it's like, he just, the abuse never stopped. He just kept on going. But the thing, I even have said to my brother who's sick, I said, don't forget who your dad is. Like, he lived for 20 fucking years drinking with 1% of his liver. So, I mean, we have some strong genetic coding or something in us. So, anyways, but that's what, how some of us, we can get sick, but other people just like get real sick, keel over, fall over suddenly, sudden death syndrome and all this stuff, because we're all running different codes, and your code, it's not like it can be written wrong. It's like the code you are come in with is your code. Like, you are, it's like it has to do with your storyline too. Your coding is so much more complex, it's so much more complicated. And that's the way these people are trying to read our codes or something. That's why they try and get access to like our the D and the N, and they want access to these codes because they're trying to understand. I think that they take some of those and they put them into supercomputers and stuff and try and, but they can't. It's way too complex. It's way out of their. It's way out of their bandwidth or their what they can comprehend. It's way out of that because our code is so complex. It's like all your lives, all your lessons, all the things you've been, and what you're here to experience. Because it also has to do with what your lessons are and stuff. It has to do with your transits, your what's to come in and come out of your existence. So it's very complex, and so it's not, nothing is wrong. It's not written wrong or anything. It happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And my brother was telling me yesterday, because I was talking to him, the brother that moved into his place, that he was saying that he was talking about, because he is a fireman, and he's always got horrendous stories. It used to be when I was a nurse, we would just trade crazy stories, and people told us to shut the fuck up. We were weirdos, psychos, but anyways, we would always be talking about horrible things, and so he still is always talking about horrible things, and so he was talking about this. We were talking about all sorts of stuff, but a lot of death and weird accidents that happen and stuff like that. And so the different things he would be telling me, I'd be like, yeah, but everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. There isn't really any accident or tragedy. Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. We come up with that solution to it of like, well, that's a tragedy, well, that's an accident and stuff like that. But it really is, everything plays out exactly what it's supposed to play out. And especially when you hear like some of these weird things, like somebody falling off of a roof, and it just so happens of all the places to hit, there's one little tiny stump there, and they just happen to fall, and their head happens to hit the stump, or the middle of their back, or whatever. And everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, but we get caught up in like, oh my God, they died too young and stuff like that. No, they completed their code. It was done. And so it was their exit, which I just saw this lady. So she was a psychic, uh, channeler or something. And which there's tons. I mean, I guess I'm considered one of those as well. If you're talking to people that other people can't see, so mediums though talk to dead people, um, like go and just talk to dead people. Like, but everybody really, if you're not here, you're in a sense dead. So everything, or I don't know. I think we try and create so much script around, or so much detail or labels or whatever. But when you're just talking through telepathy to other beings, that is considered channeling. And so this lady, she talks to hers. Like, and you think that, I mean, you got all sorts of people. I mean, some people think they're talking to God himself. And so anyways, this lady, so she said that her guides, or whoever she's channeling, I think she said her guides, they've been telling her for a while of all this bad stuff. So when mine started doing that in 2016, so like 2015 was my dark night, and then once I came out of that, that's when I started getting just one after another. And it was funny because there was so much reference to my brain injury, but I had to do a lot of healing from '09 when I got it, 11 when I got diagnosed, and then 15 is when I really, but there was still more healing to go because I was still on all of those little things, 18 of them. I still had to make a lot of choices for myself. I was just get sick. There was a lot of stuff. There's a lot to this. There's a lot to changing yourself, revamping yourself, becoming the better version of yourself. But so in 2016 though is when I started seeing all this stuff, and they kept saying all the things that had happened to me was going to happen to everybody. It didn't just happen to me. I wasn't just the only one in the world. It was going to have all this bad shit happen too. I was told everybody's going to have it happen. Everybody's going to go through some shit. And then it was, to me, what I referenced to is the come to Jesus moment, which is to me, it's not, outside of yourself. It's to come into understanding the life is bigger than what you think it is. And it's, to me, everything is going inside, not outside, which drives me crazy right now because all of this revival is all outside. Everybody's turning to Jesus for the answers, and which to me still seems to have a lot to do with fear, because if the world's about to blow up, I don't want to go to hell. And so, what's the likely thing is I'll go to Jesus, which there was another thing my mom said the other day that was like, wonder if this is one of the little things, because always it's been that no matter what a rotten son of a bitch you are, you can be out mass killing people, and the moment before you're about to be executed or something for all your crimes, you just say, Jesus save me, and that's the magic words. And which, there's a lot of people like, well, I even heard one guy say, well, so that means I'd be up there with my molester? Like, I'm supposed to be rubbing elbows with them and stuff? So a lot of people who were like, that doesn't seem right, that doesn't seem fair. But you talk to some religious people, well, that's the way it is. That's, we're all sinners, and if all you got to do is ask, and you're forgiven. Which, God, listening to that music again yesterday, it was like, oh, you're so unworthy, you're so unworthy, you're such a rotten son of a bitch. Luckily, Jesus will save you. It's like, oh my God. It's just like, oh my God, it's such a programming or brainwashing. God damn. So, anyways, the Um, so anyways, so what the thing is that created a little question mark was, so Jimmy now, Jimmy's come out, I guess. I don't know, because this is, I don't know all the different stuff. But Jimmy has come out, I guess, and called on Jesus or something. And so then there's a certain group of people who think like, oh, he's doing it to try and get all these people back on his side or something. But it was like, you know, so you can just be a jerk and then you just call his name and then you just go right, you know. And then so I was like, yeah, see, it's a little wacky, isn't it? You know, you can just do or say whatever you want and then suddenly turn around and go, Jesus, save me. And then it's all good, it's all good. It's like, it's a little wacky. So anyways, but all these little holes being poked creates questions like, yeah, that's a little wacky, isn't it? That's a little strange. It's like, is that really right? Should that really be a thing? Should you be able to just be rotten and do shitty things and then just turn around and just be forgiven? And it's like, I don't think so. I think, well, I know how the universal energy works. It's like whatever you put out comes back on you. You can't just say, here, Jesus, it's coming back. It's a tidal wave. You take it. I'm going this way. It doesn't work that way. It's like, no, it follows you like it's your tail. You can't cut your tail off and put it on Jesus. It's like, no, what do you put out? It's coming with you. And so that's just the way it goes. That's just the energy of the universe. There's nothing you can do about that. And then this friggin' coming up with a figurehead and saying, just hand it off to him. It's like, good luck to you. We'll see how it works out for you. I guess we're going to see here soon how it works out for people. But so, anyways, so she, so I was listening to her video. And so she said that her guides started telling her all this stuff that's going to be happening. And she didn't want to talk about it. She didn't want to talk about any of this stuff. And, but she said that this morning and everybody left the house and she's sitting there and it was real quiet. And they were like, now is when you need to talk about it. And so she started saying of all these things that are going to be happening. And she said the most important thing, though, is what I keep saying. The most important thing and why this stuff is happening is so you heal, so you get right with yourself, so you start evolving yourself, so you, it's all this stuff that I've been saying. So she was saying the same thing. That's what's important. But there's going to be all these things are going to be happening. And all these things that are going to be happening is, to me, it's like the repercussions. It's like the tail. It's like what we created is following us. And so this stuff has to play out. And like right now, there's all this weird shit playing out. Like there's, that's dog soup. There's the, because there was a BOMB or something that went off in, you know, Vladimir world. And they, but they're saying it was placed there and then initiated, ignited. And so I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff. There's a whole new thing going around about Charlie, too. Somebody sent a video. You can go look at the video. It's in the comments, I think, yesterday or something. You can go and look. Somebody shared a video. It's a 2-hour one. This guy talking about this whole thing. Is there... I don't know. I don't think he's gone. I think that if he's anywhere, he's over in Valhalla, whatever. So, but more things that don't make sense on the whole thing that they're trying to say happen, and slow down the footage, look at this, look at that, you know. And so there's more. You can go see. To me, everything is just to get us to question things, to get us to see, like, things are not what we're told. And, you know, what things do you want to believe? And what things do you want to just be more on the fence about? Don't just jump in, because that's where we have these two sides. They are all hook, line, and sinker. And that's why in what she's saying, this other channeler lady is saying that it's going to go to civil war, that they're going to go, and it's going to last a long time. And that's also part of this tribulation thing, where all these people who think they're rapturing out is rapturing before the tribulation. But I've been saying for a while, I think we're already in this tribulation thing. But also, the Hopi prophecy is about the mirror, so seeing yourself clearly. But maybe that's after they all fight each other. I don't know. So the so she was saying that there's going to be all this battle, and so I'll just tell you some of the stuff she was saying. So, and she said that there's going to be 6 weeks after Charlie. So what are we, like 2 weeks after right now? So at the end of October, maybe about, there's going to be a significant event that's going to happen. And by what she was saying, it sounded like that it was going to be very dramatic about another big name going, where some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, is this going to be Melania? Like, because she kept seeing Donald crying and stuff. So I don't know. To me, it would be a part of the show, because I swear to God, I think when they talk about Melania being from somewhere, I think she's from the other side of the ice wall. I think she's from somewhere that's more more advanced. And so, but I don't know. I mean, but anyways, so she said there's going to be another big event. And then like a few weeks after that, like 4 weeks after that, she said there's going to be a big tragic thing up in Northern California. And she said right now there's all this energy that people are feeding off of that's coming up through the ground, which I said every place holds its own energy. I said that a long time ago. And that people feed off of it, but see, everything goes the way it's supposed to go. And that's another thing why you got to use your discernment. Like when you start noticing, like, where are my feelings coming from today? Why do I feel this way? What am I caught up in? And a lot of it is like the energy around us, energy in the planet and stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like learning how to stay centered, learning how to stay in your own zone. You know, the ground's rattling, and how to stay in your own lane, you know. Don't get caught up in all the dramas. So, anyway, so she said that it's going to be this big thing. And she said there's also something in the ocean that they're going to ignite that is going to cause a huge tsunami. It's going to be, it sounded like it was the East Coast. And she said then there's going to be a big earthquake that's going to split the earth in half. Because she was talking about, she was seeing like what South America was going to be. She said that she was being shown safe places, like places that you could be to be in the safety, because she said only 25% of the people are going to make it out of this split, which I have no idea. I have no idea. But I do know that if you leave, you go, that it's not something that you need to fear. It's not something that's bad or scary. It's just like the storyline is over, and it's whittling down, because it's going into this new one, and all of this. But and you think, well, see that sound over there. Yesterday when I was sitting there saying that, and I was like, man, what is that? And then I thought, oh, it's Max. That was him making that noise. But then I got up and I went over, and after I finished, I made a cup of tea. I'm sitting there and I'm hearing this noise, and I'm like, man, is that my stomach? Jeez, man, I need to eat something. My stomach's going crazy, which I think it was growling a lot before when I was finishing. And then so I went over there, and it was like, God, my stomach was just really growling, making weird noises. And so I was like, man, but it sounds weird. And I was like going for a few minutes, and I'm making my cup of tea, and then all of a sudden I hear something, and I look up in the window, and there's a cat sitting there. This one cat, he must have been really cold outside. And so he came in, and then he found himself like, now what do I do? And so he's just sitting up in the window. It took so long to get him. I had to have my mom come down. But so he was just sitting there, and he kept on making noises at me and stuff. And Uh, but anyways, so yesterday when I was hearing noises and I was looking over there, and but it was a cat sitting. He came in and went and climbed up there and got in the window. So right now I think that there's something going over there. It's just over there now. So I don't know. There's always something. So anyways, but if it were to go down like that, if it were to be like, we're gonna go through these giant ass earthquakes and tsunamis, which I do think we're gonna be going through a lot of that stuff, is and it's going to take out a lot of people. It's gonna be super dramatic, but the people that go, there's nothing to be scared of. And that is another thing too, is that it could very well be some of those people that go, that they go to their life review, they go over the things and they move up forward and they come to the age of Aquarius. So because the part of this whole thing about this age of Aquarius thing and this heaven on earth, that the story goes that the dead and the living will walk together. So just because you die, don't lose your state of consciousness just because you die. Don't surrender, don't give up and just be like, well, now I'm out, now I'm just like, no. Keep moving in the direction you want to move. You want to go to this new place, this Valhalla, whatever that is going to become, is keep going in that direction. Don't just go like, oh, well, now I'm dead. Now I'm just, stuck doing this, because that's how you'll stick yourself. So move in the direction you want to go. Like, now I'm dead. Now I'm ready to move forward into the next phase. So show me what I need to be seen so I can get to where I want to go. Just keep going on that travel. Don't think that this is the only road to travel. Like, this is just one path, and it's the path of learning. And so also you are learning. You are a code of lessons. So don't ever hold yourself back, no matter what. Don't hold yourself back. Don't look at yourself in limitations. Always see yourself as the creator that you are, and the experiencer, the divine, the divinity, the eternal being that you are. And that is the thing that moves you forward, is to revel in your own divinity, to see your own value, to create your own worth. So don't hold yourself back. And because just because you die doesn't mean it's like, oh, well, now I'm out of that. That doesn't, no. It's just that role or that story ended, and I think that you can still come back as the same person. That's the whole theory behind the dead and the living walk together, because you come back as, the person you were, but now you're back alive. So don't, because this new world that's going to be created is kind of like a dead world. Like, I swear to God, I used to see this all the time when I would think about it, and I would think it's kind of like, ascending is just staying the same character, but you still are leaving this story. You're still dying out of this story. You're still going into a new story. And so it is like this world, this reality is dying, but it is to know the nature of self and to know your own eternal aspect, so that you know that you can continue, and you continue to make the choices that you want to make for yourself. And so it's like being conscious of yourself. And that doesn't go away because you die, because you became awake here and aware, and you became conscious of yourself. That doesn't go away. You continue that growth. So, but I used to think it a long time ago. It's like, maybe we're just all going to die, and that's how we get to this new thing. But it's not. Death isn't real. It's just a concept that they have fed us, of it, but it's really just a transition. But, we're going into being our lighter beings. We're not dragging our heavy bodies with us, which the thing is like your body's not real anyways. It's what the frequency allows to exist. But in this vibration, it can be there, but it can't be in another vibration. So in the higher vibration, it's like you can't take some of this stuff. And that's why I've been saying, like, you can't carry your pain and your suffering. It's like that's the baggage and stuff that you can't take with you. And so your body, the concept of your body is also, to me, just as cumbersome and heavy and weighted down. And so it is way more of you going into your light body and then being who it is you want to be. And so you are kind of the designer. And so that's why the people who were going to those in the QHHTs and stuff were saying everybody's really beautiful, everybody's really fit, because everybody becomes who they want to be, who gets there. Like you become your best version of yourself in order to get there. But it still is, I don't know, because it kind of seems like as the transition is to learn to respect our life period and our vehicle that gets us through it. And that's the creation of the mind, body, spirit. But to always keep your knowing in more of a spiritual context, more of a value system. And so then you transition away from that, but you have to learn how to have gratitude for it. It's like you have to have gratitude for things, and then you can let them go, and then you can move into something else. But anyways, it isn't like flesh and blood is real, and flesh and blood is where is going to go into the new earth and stuff. It can very well be that, so don't get all scared like about the tsunamis and all the stuff. I mean, you gotta follow your guidance of where you go, because where you go is where you're supposed to be. But and you really have no choice, even if you think. I mean, you're always going to be where you're going to be. So even if you think you're not supposed to be there, that's where you're supposed to be. So the but so it could very well be that the people who leave during the earthquakes and tsunami really just transition into the new state of being, into the age of Aquarius. Like the next stop is like, let's go there. We are putting in our own judgment when we think like, oh, well, the people who die aren't going, only the people who live. Well, how do we know? How do we know that the people who live aren't the ones who are stuck in the aftermath of hell? Like, we don't know. So don't put limitations on how you look at things. Don't fear death. Your death situation is just your exit entry. It's like you're going through a door, you're going through a portal into the next reality. So it's not something that you need to be worried about. It is, they create a lot of drama around it, and they create a lot of fear around it. But there's not the fear that you don't need to have the fear. That's part of the breaking free from fear. That's what a big part of all this stuff going on is, breaking free from it, breaking free from the hold it has on you. And the the concepts that they try and teach us in everything around us is showing that it's all based on lies. Like everything keeps. I just saw a video talking about showing these building that they said that they built in like 1803 or something for the big fair thing, and they supposedly built all these buildings, but really They were all buildings that already existed, and so they hadn't torn them down yet. So they had to say, well, we built them for this state fair, which really makes you think, like, I mean, because the people in the town would have seen them. Like, what do they find these towns, and then they bring people in, and I don't know how all these resets and all this stuff. Like, all I know is it's a bunch of lies. They they create places and then they inhabit them. They use lab babies and all sorts of shit, orphan trains. Like, everything is just big old fucking bunch of lies. Everything, and everything is twisted to upside down. The people you think are bad are good, and the people you think are good are bad. It's just like wacky. And so you don't want to, you just, I don't know, a part of it is just stop believing all their bullshit and go into yourself and start believing and trusting yourself. Start being in more communication. And then, you go into communication and you're talking with dark entities and stuff, you'll learn. You'll learn from it. It's not like the worst thing that could ever happen. You'll learn who to trust in your communication. You'll start. And the way to me is just evaluate the information. Think about, like, well, what is this doing good? Is this doing bad? Does this hurt people? Does it help people? Because, of course, the light energy, the good energy, is going to be helping, and the bad energy is going to be trying to keep people trapped. But it can come packaged very deceiving, just like how, we've been going through, we've been in the upside down world, and they packaged it and we believed it. So it's that same energy that will try and communicate with you to mislead you, to keep you trapped in the dark energy by, getting you to be stuck in ego, getting you to be stuck in judgment, getting you to be stuck in hierarchy, getting you to look down on other people and stuff, and getting you to follow orders. Like, you got to question things. You got to become into your own, don't just a product of your environment. So, anyways, whatever, all these different people, and as I know there's going to be a lot of bad stuff that's going to happen. I mean, that's for sure. I just don't know all the details about it. But I do believe 100% that the land mass is going to change drastically, and everything is micro macro. So if things split, that is the split of things happening. It's like the energy splitting apart, and it's going to cause rumbles, and which I saw this guy. Okay, he was talking in code, and so it was really hard to understand, but it was a lot of the stuff from what I've been saying. But there was a couple things that I found interesting that he said that I didn't know. So he said, but I did know, like, I knew there was giants. And then there's somebody else, I saw a podcast where somebody was talking about the titans are these dormant giant, these titans are not just giants, these titans, like the gods or whatever from before or something, these giant, like, mountain ranges and stuff like that, that they are from another dimension, and they are going to come back. And so then we know about the blues, only he kept calling them the U's. And he was talking about the manipulation of the language and stuff. And they created their own in order to control us and stuff through the judicial and, all of that. Is a whole another language, and everything is about protecting them and making sure they have everything and that they are separate from us, and that they are old, like colonized tribe or something. They're an old group of people, just like the vamps are an old group of people. And so they, at some point though, they wanted to take on the giants, but then they thought that they could no way win against the giants. So I don't know, because he was talking so much in code, I don't know all the stuff he was saying, but I was like, that's interesting to think about. Like, if they were there with the giants and they were like, we're taking over this place, we're going to dig over we're going to get rid of you too. And so, I don't know, but I know that's what these people are like, the true ones, because a lot of people were born into those bloodlines that don't, it's like they carry a different code. And some of those ones is like, they, I don't know, it's like, to me, it's like the same with the original people. It's like they don't really die, they just transfer into other bodies or something. They don't die like how we, the the thing that is different, like, because everything is energy, everything is like an orb of energy. So everything is like this spark of life. And so we, like, let's just call them the reincarnators. And they're like the worker bees for the universe, kind of. So the ones that are the reincarnators, the ones that go through experience and expand the knowledge of the universe through their experiences, then they they die off. Like, they leave a storyline. They go into a storyline and they leave a storyline. And they go in another storyline. They leave. They go in, out, in, out. And the going through those experiences, it's like, you know, it brightens them up. It teaches them, and they become like, I don't know, I don't want to say superior, but these advanced kind of beings, like where you think of like angels and these higher beings, like that they go through these things, and so that they become a higher knowledge. But I mean, we can see the struggle right now of coming into your own. But so going through these lives, it's like your orb becomes brighter and bigger, and you become a bigger, brighter light in the universe. These beings that don't do that, they just stay in the same place, in the same reality, and they don't die off, and then they don't learn. So they stay kind of stagnant. And so it's like they don't have the same brightness to their light. They are, and they're more of the dark. So I don't know, they're more of like a dimmer kind of light. It's not the same kind of thing, but there's something that makes them alive. Like, they're alive, but they're not the same. And they are of a different energy. And so they don't advance in the same kind of way. But their realm they do advance in is this realm where it seems like they've got it all, you know. They're living on the high life, you know, where it's like we have to go to heaven to have that. They have it, but that's is their realm. And so, but they don't advance, like they don't die and learn and grow and stuff. They just stay in this position. And so, but they are more in control of this realm because it's like their realm. And so they have more control over it. And that, so, but see, the reincarnators come into it because we do grow and advance from it. But they don't. It's like they are, it's like they are just the dark. They are of the dark. It's not meant to be the other, because it's kind of weird. Because, yeah, there's got to be, because the light would just keep growing and growing and growing. Oh. Because the light would just keep growing, and pretty soon it would be taking over the dark. But maybe it is get lost in the dark, and then they feed into the dark, and then so the dark continues to expand as the light expands. Like when we come in, because there is some people, like this story I heard yesterday, it is just like, what in the holy hell, man? What is wrong with people? Like, fuck. So these people, they live out on 40 acres. And it's a mom and a dad and their little kids and their dogs. And she said they had a house dog too, a little 20-pound, like, I don't know, dachshund mix, Chihuahua mix, some little dog. And then they have their outdoor dogs that, like probably the guard, they watch over the house or whatever. I don't know what kind they are, but they had just gotten one that was a puppy, and they called it a sir or something, which I had just seen one of these dogs in a shelter that is looking for a home right now. It's 165 pounds. And so it's a little smaller than Stella, but it looks like Stella. So it looks like an English Mastiff, but it's called a Sir or something, like CER or CRU or something. And and I was like, man, this dog looks so much like Lucy. And so anyways, I was like, I wonder what this is. But then I saw this other video, and she said that they had one of those. So I was like, oh, so it's a real breed. And so it must have been, but it was a puppy. But she said the puppy was like 40 pounds. And anyways, next to them is like 1,000 acres of allowed hunting forest. And so she said these men came driving down the road and passed them. And she said that it was real weird because they stopped and they looked at them. They were watching this family. And then they drove on and went into the hunting thing. And then they started hearing a lot of boom, 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 which was automatic. It was automatic one, which, are you fucking kidding me? I swear to God. I swear to fucking God. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Like, some people, like, they need to have these things to feel power. Because I always was getting weirded out. I've talked about this before. Like, I would go out and I would rake my yard. I would just be out there raking. And it's like you kind of get in touch with nature and you're silent and you're just moving through it, cleaning your yard and stuff. And then, some guy would come home. He'd go get his blowing machines and go get all that. And it's just like all this noise pollution, all this like, yeah, I got my thing. It's so, I don't know, but that's the same thing. It's like the same energy. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go get my, it's just like, I'm going to disrupt the world. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to be the powerful one. I don't know. There's something weird about it. And so, anyways, so the woman said that they start hearing all of this boom, 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 boom. And she said they all start freaking out. And she said it sounded way too close. And then she said, then they started hearing their dogs yelping. This is so fucking sad. So fucking sad. Fuck, man. So I don't know if these dogs ran over to try and see these people. And these guys just took the opportunity. It's like, well, I don't see a deer. I don't see a dove. I don't see a rabbit. Let's just take out these pets. And so that's what they did. Every single one of them. Multiple, because it was automatic. So it was like shredding. And the family could hear the screams. And she said that and then when they got the bodies back, that none were from the front. All of them were from the rear or the side. So because the men tried to, as soon as they heard it, the husband drove out into the road and blocked them as the guys were trying to come back. And he said, "Did you just KILL my DOG, my dogs?" And they're like, "Well, they were trying to attack us." So, uh, whatever went on, I swear, I would have lost my mind. I would have, I would have lost my mind on those people. I don't think that they would be leaving my yard. And so, I don't even have any of those, but I would have lost my. I don't even know what I would have done. I can't imagine I would have been passive though. And so then they called the cops and stuff. These guys left. They called the cops. They got the bodies back. Even their 20-pound little house dog, it was coming to attack them. And their puppy and their other dog. So they did them all in, took every single one of them out. And then, so the woman was trying to get the cops to do something. And they said, "Oh, well, there's a leash law." So you're supposed to have your dog on a leash in your fucking yard. Are you fucking kidding me? And then, then they can say, no matter what you got to make a safe place for your animals. Like, I swear to God, there's psychotic people out there. You got to fence an area that they're safe. And this was something that really stuck out to me and where I was living before, because I already knew. Like, there was people all over the place. I would see them on next door. "Oh, yeah, that comes in my yard. That's it for them. You come in my yard, I'm going to get you. Your dog comes in my yard, that's it." And my mom said out here, too, all the time. If people just, "Your dog was in my yard." It's like, what? What the fuck? God damn. I swear to God, the lack of empathy, the lack of compassion, the lack of, and it's so prevalent right now in our society. What's going on in the shelters and stuff? It's so fucking absurd. But the so she's going to try and contact them and tell them they just have to pay for all of their dogs, and like their little one was like 12 years old or something. It's like, to me, it's family members. These aren't just like my dogs. These are just my family members. And that it's part of my role is to protect them, and they protect me, and we protect each other. And so, anyways, that's what she was, and she kept being like so much guilt, like she had done something wrong. The only thing I would say is I would have a fence. There was, especially next to a place like that, man. She said that there was a target on a tree and it was just decimated because of the automatic thing. So, and it was pointing towards their house. It wasn't very far. It's like, fuck that fucking shit, man. I think I would be in court trying to get it stopped, that they can't just come out there like that. I don't know. I mean, some stuff that happens in your life is to provoke or promote you to take a stand on things. This is just fucking horrible. And so she said that she's going to try and get them to take that, or she said she's going to take them to civil court. But I think, there needs to be taking a stand on the rights of animals. Like, this world is just so disrespectful. But that's the thing, is like people like that. So when you are just becoming of the dark, if it just consumes you and you become of the dark, and that's why the dark continues to grow as the light continues to grow, because the light continues to grow. But I don't know. It's dark because when you look at balance, it's an equal thing. And in the micro macro, we all have it and we all have to find our balance. But in the bigger sense of things, then what feeds the dark? Because we come into the dark and we learn and we grow and we become bigger. then what feeds the dark is that some people become consumed by the dark, and they become like that, like this evilness, like the, you know, I don't know, like the Ted Bundys of the world or something, and they just become the dark realm. Like, I don't know. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I don't know. I just know that these ones that that are of that nature stay. They don't grow out of it. They yeah, they must grow stronger in it, and that's why they can go and take over millions and millions of other souls, and where it's billions, and they have control over them. So I don't know. It's almost like they're a god of this realm, really, because they have. It's so weird too. While people are like, God, the one who's in control of this realm, like those people, these ancient relic colonizers, these people who came here and took over. Oh yeah, because that was one thing too. Is that guy who was talking all in code and stuff? He said the Gaia created the giant. The giants were the expression of Gaia, the planet. That's why it's giants, and Gaia is like this same kind of word or something. But then that also makes sense over how they ended up going into becoming like the mountain ranges and stuff as other realities began to occur. But those realities are really a lower vibration. And it was, even to that point, would have been the dark, the battle between the dark and the light. Because the battle between the dark and the light has been going on in this realm for a long, long time. But that's why you can rest assured that this is bigger than what we have any concept of, because this is the battle between light and dark. And this is it's like we win this battle. Like well, it depends on how we look at it as winning, because there's been a lot of loss. It's been going a long time, and we've gone through a lot, but we do learn and win. That is one thing too that I saw somebody talking about, is that these negative people, we won't even label them, they're just people who think that they are doing right when they're really not. But some of this, to me, is a big show, and it's not really what's happening. It's to get us to see and to wake up and stuff. But so the big thing that happened with the guy, this kid or something, supposedly, who went in Dallas and decided to go to a ICE place, and he just gonna start going through the windows, popping off, and then, but he didn't get any of the agents. Instead, he just got the people who he's trying to save and killed them. And so that one, so now the people that are the that like the people who the ICE is looking for. Now they're saying, please stop, please leave us alone, let us fight our own battles, let us be, get out of our business, get out of our lane. And then the whole thing of like they were gonna take out Charlie, then that started a whole revival where all these people started loading up, going to church and stuff. Then there's another one. Everything they do keeps backfiring. It keeps going the other direction. So, anyways, the everything is going to keep going the other direction too, because it's time of change. It's the flipping, the going back the right way, right side up, because it's like we were slowly taken down, and we've been under their control, but now it's going to go up, and that is the light coming in and turning things around. But see how things can turn in a strange way. But still, to me, the revival needs to go to self, going and just flooding into churches and stuff. Like, it's still under their control, it's still under their power, and it still is not being in your own your own sovereignty. So the real road to freedom is through you being comfortable with yourself and being in control of your own destiny. And it's bigger than just this life. Like I said, even if a flood comes in and takes you out, don't go and get lost in that victim mentality of death. Go and stand in your, now I'm going to this next place. I'm just going through this door into that door. And you're going into, it's just a transition into a new way, but don't keep yourself held back. That's what feeds the dark, is you keeping yourself held back. And know your own power. Like, you have to see yourself like as a god, like, as what we conceptualize like God, the powerful and stuff. You got to see your own power. It is like the duty to self. But that is what we're learning. That's why I was saying, like, this, the lessons that we're learning right now are way bigger. And that's what's important. All this stuff where, like, one thing, people, like, the government's lying. Then they just get stuck on it. And then they just keep going over and over and trying to show, oh, see, they're lying here, they're lying there, they're lying here. It's like, once you see that they're lying, move on to the next thing. Just keep moving through the lessons. Don't get stuck and just keep going over and over and over and over it. That is a sense of fear. It's like, you gotta let it go. It's just like, know it. Don't believe it and move on, because that is where you get these people on two sides, and these just stay trapped in this, like, they know this, so they just stay trapped there. It's like, you don't want to stay trapped in any of this, because everything is happening to keep you moving, because this is about your soul evolving. This is way bigger than just what's happening here in this place. This is about the soul. It kind of like, it is kind of like you've been in school a long time, and wherever you're lost in the lesson plan, that now is to push you to this graduation, push you out of it, to push you into, really realizing all that you've learned, to really become a product of everything you've learned, to go into the master, being the all-powerful knowing being that you are. But you've got to draw on all of your knowledge. You got to connect all of your pathways, and you got to, it's like, to really acknowledge your coding, and to really acknowledge you as the soul, as the being that is underneath the layers of makeup and extensions and shit. Because that is the false side that they want to keep you focused on, which is, it's the side of you that dies off. It's not the real side of you. The side of you that is eternal is where you need to focus, and that is the evolution that is happening here, is to shed the false aspects of self and go into the purest version of self. So, if that makes sense. I'm just talking, but anyways, but that's how I see it. So even if all these things happen, we go into civil war, we know that there's going to be all these different storms and stuff. To me, like, we've got a huge battle going. I don't know how much worse it's going to get. It's where the people take it, and you got to, stay out of it. If you can see it, stay out of it. And it's going to probably be really intense in some of the bigger cities, because, where else is it going to be? So the more that you can know your value, to move out of the intensity, because there's going to probably be all sorts of crazy shit. It's going to keep going. And then there's going to be more with the earth changes. There's going to be a lot of stuff. So whatever goes down, and it's hard. It's hard to keep that in mind, because we're going to be losing family members and everything, because I want to sit here and think like everything's going to start getting better. The money's going to change. We're going to get the med beds. Everything's going to start going better, and people are going to have a lot of healing to do. But I don't know. I mean, it could be that she's going into a different reality and that's what she's seeing is where she's going. I have no idea. I mean, you know, whatever's going to play out, it's going to play out. And we came in, we signed up for this, and we're along for the ride. So however it goes is how it goes. You know, no, I hope that there's going to be this big thing with the money that's, I mean, that's coming. That is coming. I've seen videos still talking about that. But we have this big thing going, which could be just a big old part of the show because on the BRICS things, they had to sign on to peace treaties and stuff, but they keep on making like all these WARs going on. And now they've called in every general, all the generals. We got to meet here. We got to have this. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, today they could do, and don't forget, like that whole Hawaii moment of like, oh, we're all about to die in 20 seconds. We got 3 minutes to be alive or something. Don't forget, they could do that. That was a huge wake-up call for people. That really changed, you know, I think the people who went through that experience, it was a significant impact on them. So that could be the big change. You know, they're building this big build up again to WAR. It's going to happen, and there could be some stuff. I would think that, you know, enough of these people